So hello, welcome to the video and welcome to Thessaloniki in Greece, or Salonika as the locals prefer to call it. Now, I wasn't originally going to make a video about my time here because my destination videos tend to not do very well and they take a long time to edit, but I've decided I'm going to because I have quite enjoyed my time here. Indeed, it's been this channel's strategy all along to make destination videos. I used to watch people like Noel going to very interesting places, and I'd get frustrated when I'd be quite excited to see a little of the place they were visiting, but they'd never share any of it. The next video would be just about their flight back out again. Indeed, I had a strategy when I started this channel of making a series about Europe's second cities. You may have been to Prague, you may have been a couple of times, 3-4 times, and you might love the Czech culture, you might love the Czech pricing, but you don't really want to go to Prague again. So what actually is Czechia's second city, and what would that be like for a visit? And the same for Hungary, Latvia, even Austria. But when I realised that my destination videos weren't doing very well, I never really followed through on that strategy until today, because Thessaloniki is Greece's second city. Now, most of the footage you're about to see was filmed yesterday when the weather was considerably better than it is today. But if you'd like to see what I thought of Greece's second city, stick around. Hi, I'm Matt and this is Matt's Planet. I aim to entertain, educate and inspire with my travel adventures from planning to execution. I'll show you how you can travel in style for a lot less than you'd think. So subscribe so you can come with me. I'm not a historian, so apologies if my summary of the region's history is brief and a little superficial. But I found it fascinating, and hopefully I have summarised 2,000 years of history in the following 164 words without too many errors of fact or emphasis. Thessaloniki is in Greece, but I was surprised to learn that it's only been so since 1912. If you're expecting to find ancient Greek temples atop each hill, like you'll find in Athens and in southern Greece, you'll be disappointed, as historically this area is Macedonian. Alexander the Great was born just up the road, and the region still identifies strongly as Macedonian. You can tour through the Museum of the Macedonian Struggle when you're there, although I didn't on this visit. Greece is very possessive of its Macedonian heritage, which is the reason why North Macedonia, and previously the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, has that name. Greece didn't want to diminish its Macedonian heritage by allowing any suggestion that the heart of Macedonia was anywhere else. Over the last 2,000 years, the Macedonian region became Roman, then Byzantine, and was Ottoman for 600 years before the breakup of that empire led to the modern country of Greece reabsorbing the territory in 1912. So the city has a fascinating history, although there's not a lot of it on show in the modern city. There are some archaeological remains and some old churches, but the main landmark of relative antiquity is the White Tower, now the symbol of the city. Originally built under Byzantine rule in the 12th century and incorporated into Ottoman city defences, it was remodelled in the 20th century, so it's not particularly clear as to what parts are old and what aren't. But for €6 you can climb to the top, and there are exhibits about the tower and the city on the floors on the way up. All in Greek, but there is an audio guide accessible on your phone which is included in that price. You are rewarded for the climb with great views from the top, and I definitely recommend it if you visit. The waterfront is definitely Salonika's gem. There's several miles of absolute waterfronts to stroll along, with old guys fishing and some interesting monuments to explore. There's even some touristy boat trips and ferries that you can take. It's not saturated with ice cream and souvenir shops. Indeed, there aren't any, and it could probably do with having a few. But you'll find restaurants, shops and a few bars over the road with great water views, albeit views interrupted by the passing traffic. And as the city faces west, you can enjoy some cracking sunsets from that waterfront too. It's really nice to stroll along and gives you a quite different experience at different times of the day. The overriding impression I got from my visit was that Salonika doesn't exist for tourists. It welcomes them and looks after them well, but it's a working city that I thought was really livable. There's a proper market at its heart with fish, meat and vegetables. And nearby was a converted former market that's now full of smaller cafes and specialty food retailers. A really nice space actually. The city's excellent climate supports lots of pavement cafes, almost as many focusing on coffee as focus on beer and Aperol spritzes, but you'll not struggle to find a place to relax and refresh as you stroll aimlessly around exploring the city. In the evening I noticed several really smart restaurants where people properly dressed up to dine, and the pricing of the dishes matched what you'd expect to see in major Euro capitals. But there were also a lot of more budget-friendly dining options. I loved this place where I did eat like a Greek. I went for a €12 dish rather than the wide range of €8 dishes also available, and I left the restaurant very satisfied, let's just say. €16 in total for that food and a beer works for me. I'd had lunch at another local spot close by and paid €8.20 for a souvlaki and a biggish beer. Both were superb. As I said, it's a really livable city. I stayed at the Hotel Andromeda for a pretty incredible £70 a night. It was half a block from the seafront and it was very convenient to those restaurants, and the rooms were quirky, shall we say, but I really liked it. It was the sort of room that has no plug within 10 feet of the bed and you spend 10 minutes working out how to turn all the lights off, but I loved it and I would thoroughly recommend a stay at that property. Very friendly and helpful staff too. I even got a small balcony that I could probably have sat on if I turned sideways and was happy to sit on the floor. An ashtray was provided, so I think a lot of people do. Thessaloniki has an airport located about 8 miles or 13 kilometres south of the city centre. It's a fixed price to get into the city by taxi, €25 or 35 at night, and you can perhaps save €1 or 2 with Uber. It's called Thessaloniki Macedonia Airport, there's that commitment to the heritage again, and it's a really nice facility that is surprisingly well connected. Aegean Airlines operates direct flights from this second city to around 10 domestic and perhaps 20 international destinations. British Airways could learn a lot from this as they only fly to one destination from Britain's second city of Manchester. Aegean doesn't fly there from London sadly, but BA does seasonally, and it's also well serviced seasonally by the low-cost carriers. And it's a very painless 40-minute flight up from Athens if that's your gateway to Greece. I'll talk about this airport more in my review of my flight home. So Thessaloniki, it's a great place to be, rather than perhaps being a place to actively seek out. There is stuff to do there and almost everyone speaks English, and you can comfortably visit as a tourist for longer than the 36 hours I spent there on this trip without running short of things to do. I wouldn't though promote it as an ideal place for a 2-week summer holiday with the family. It's Greek, but it's also Macedonian, and that gives it a distinct feel from other parts of Greece that I've visited. You can spend money there, but you can also have a very comfortable stay in a good hotel with lots of good food and drink if you are on a budget, particularly out of season. I really liked it, and next time I'm sick and tired of an English winter and I fancy hanging out somewhere warmer where I know I'll have a good time at an affordable price, Thessaloniki will certainly be a candidate. And if Brexit hadn't removed my right to live permanently in one of our European neighbours when I retire, it's somewhere I could have seen myself seriously considering. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill, and you probably know that I've got a Patreon account, the link to which is in the description below. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye!